What is the best mineral or resource to prospect for? After all, the possibility, even a remote one, of going into the wilderness and striking it rich is an appeal that has existed for millennia. And yes, while I do primarily talk about volcanoes, being a volcanologist, I actually started my career in mineral exploration and have a decade of experience searching for mineral resources, albeit not all formally. That is why I have, per a viewer request, created this video in an attempt to tell you what are the best resources to prospect for, hypothetically assuming that prospecting is legal and you have full permission to do such in an area. Factors that will be included are price of a resource, scarcity, expected demand change in the next decade, usefulness, and realistic potential to be able to make a profit from prospecting for such. That is why I am using this tier list, which has become all too common on YouTube, with S representing the very best resources to look for and F representing some of the worst resources to look for. Starting off, you might be surprised that I place gold despite its current absurdly high price of $4,000 per troy ounce as only in the B tier. And there is a key reason for this. While gold is in high demand and useful in electronics, it is highly recognizable. Everyone and their mother has already looked for gold and can easily recognize it. Therefore, most large gold deposits have already been discovered, and while you could make a real profit searching for gold in parts of Yukon, Australia, or Alaska, you likely won't make more than minimum wage doing such. And now, my first controversial pick on this list. I am placing diamonds in the D tier. Diamonds, despite their use in industry, are actually more common, at least in my opinion, than what most people think. I'm serious about this. Also, since diamonds are only found in limited rock types, almost every diamond deposit has already been discovered by a person or company. Now, for the two worst resources to search for. Barium and strontium. Despite being fairly high on the periodic table, they are surprisingly abundant in our planet's crust. They also have limited usefulness and a low value, so I am placing both in the F tier. Now, that doesn't mean you theoretically couldn't make a profit looking for such. I know someone who makes a decent amount finding and selling incredibly large and high-grade celestite crystals, the main ore mineral of the element strontium. And now, here's my first S-tier resource that I absolutely do suggest prospectors should search for, tungsten. And the reason for this relates to world politics. It seems that many countries have suddenly reverted back to the might equals right approach, and as a result, tungsten, which is widely used in military equipment and ordnance, is in high demand. And yet, most tungsten ore doesn't stand out like gold, meaning plenty undiscovered deposits still exist, and it is worth a decent amount per kilogram. Rare earth elements, which means yes, all 17 of these elements are being clustered together in one group for a simple reason. They tend to be found together, and while not all of these elements are necessarily rare, they are rare in the sense of uncommonly occurring in high enough concentrations to be potentially mined for a profit. The vast majority of people would not recognize a rare earth element or resource if they are staring right at it, and the demand for rare earth elements, especially in electronics, will only further increase in the next decade. Speaking about changing needs for resources in electronics, especially in green technology and energy, we have cobalt and nickel in the A tier and lithium and copper in the B tier. Each of these resources can be valuable in their own right, although you need a sizable deposit for the two B-tier elements to be profitable. However, not everyone lives in an area with abundant igneous rocks. There are a number of resources that are primarily found in sedimentary rocks. Hi, you. Yes, you. Do you like money? I mean lots of money, seriously. Then you should look for oil, which I am placing in the S tier. While oil demand is expected to peak in 2030 and then subsequently decrease forever, until then you could make a substantial sum searching for it. We all know what oil's uses are, and while green energy technology will eventually replace it, it won't fully happen in my generation in my opinion. On that subject, oil is often found in association with natural gas, which often forms the top layer of a relevant deposit. Natural gas earns a spot in the A tier. Coal, on the other hand, is more common than you think and today really isn't worth that much. While it does have its uses, I cannot assign it anything but the D tier. What about more unconventional resources such as fossils? Small creature fossils are generally far more abundant, but on occasion you might be able to find a fairly complete fossil of an ancient large-bodied creature. Yet, such pristine finds are rare, hence small and large creature fossils earning a D and C tier respectively. What about meteorites? While some meteorites are worth more than their weight in gold, and some people do make a living off of searching for and finding meteorites, it is an absurdly difficult task searching for them unless you happen to be in Antarctica, hence a C tier. Now for elements that are truly common and despite their usefulness really aren't worth much. We have iron, aluminum, and titanium in the D tier and manganese in the C tier. Manganese only receives a higher tier because I personally suspect the demand for this element to increase in the next decade. However, there are also fairly uncommon elements that despite their rarity are not worth much. Hence why both zinc and lead earn spots in the D tier. Why else would a US penny be primarily composed of zinc these days if it didn't have a low value? Now for the two main sources of radioactive elements in the crust. Uranium and thorium. Many of these ores are hidden in plain sight and not looked for since most people tend to not carry around a Geiger counter at all times. Regardless, they are easy to detect and while a potential health hazard, are worth a decent sum in large concentrations. This is why thorium earns a B tier and uranium earns an A tier. Bismuth and mercury are both more common than gold but less than silver in Earth's crust and also are worth decent amounts. However, they have limited uses so they earn C tier spots. And now the other precious metals, silver, platinum, and palladium. All three are incredibly valuable and also absurdly rare. Yet, there are not too many world locations where you can potentially find the latter two, while many large silver prospects have already been found. Regardless, finding any of these three in abundance is a cause for immediate celebration, B tier for all three. While beryllium is fairly valuable, there are very few world locations that mine specifically for it. Yet, it is often found in association with beryl gemstones, which can include emerald and aquamarine. C tier. Tin, niobium, and antimony are all worth searching for, but do not have the same value the likes of silver or precious metals have. Also, I suspect that many individuals have unknowingly passed over deposits of such. Low B tier for all three. Molybdenum is worth a decent amount, but at least where I have prospected, it almost always occurs in association with large copper ore deposits. Therefore, many copper mines also extract molybdenum as a secondary resource, mid-B tier. Vanadium also fetches a decent sum with its usefulness, but most of its major deposits have already been found, C tier. Now, tantalum. It is rare, many of its common ore minerals are not well known and do not stand out, and its demand is only going to further increase. Tantalum is currently worth hundreds of dollars per kilogram, A tier. And now, a resource I have personally searched for and found which I have made some money from, gemstones. Gemstones include a wide range of minerals and mineraloids from opaque turquoise to translucent opal to fire agate, morganite, topaz, amethyst, and more. While opaque gemstones tend to not be worth much, they are often overlooked by mining companies as a resource since they often occur in high-grade but very small ore deposits. And if you happen to find a consistent source of a harder, transparent gemstone which could be faceted such as a ruby, that's some real potential money there, S tier. And that is where I place 37 different resources on my prospecting list. This isn't an all-complete list of every resource a person could find, but regardless, I'd like you all to let me know what you think of it. As a final note, I'd like to thank my new YouTube channel member QuakeCatUT for supporting my work.